You know what really grinds my gears? Well, I mean, it's literally in the title. It's literally says it right there, UFC 4. And no, it's not because I'm just bad at it. It's not because I need to just get good, as some of you little kids love to say for some reason. And I'm not one of those types of people to just complain every time wrestling gets involved or when the jiu-jitsu gets involved and it's not a stand and bang war every single time, or whenever people, back up from me. I don't complain about that stuff most of the time. However, there are some exceptions to the rule in this game, and it's not necessarily the game that I dislike. And, it's don't hate the player, hate the game, right? But the way that some people play this game, I swear to God, are going out of their way to just make people rage quit. There is no way that people genuinely have fun playing by takedown spamming and clinch spamming the entire time. There's just no way they have any sort of fun at all. And yes, I'm talking about those T4H spamming bums who literally enter fights, use jujitsu guys or whoever it is that they're using at the weight class at the time. And they'll come in, they'll clinch spam, take you down, and submit you, rinse and repeat. They don't ever try to strike, they don't ever try to have any sort of fun. Those kinds of people there ruin the game. Those kinds of people are very rare for the most part. And I don't mind coming up against people who are just good at grappling and aren't necessarily the best at striking. I get it, because not everyone's going to be good at everything. However, it's only when you constantly do one thing that really bugs me about people in this game. And like I said, I'm not just bad at the game, but the people who don't ever try to evolve their game. Whenever I play this game, I'm always trying to evolve, get better in the striking, get better with the grappling, and be able to mix the two together. And I honestly, I don't mind the grappling. It's just the people who make it not fun for other people to play. Now, honestly, the game in itself, I actually like. I actually like UFC 4. The striking in this game is very clean and fluid, in my opinion. And, a lot of people give the grappling flack, but I don't think that they ever just consider that a lot of times when people complain about the grappling, they're just bad at the game. I understand that, yeah, maybe I do have some complaints when people just clinch spam and take you down, but the mechanics, for the most part, I find to be pretty good. I like the whole transition denials. I like being able to take people down from the clinch. I think the clinch was better in UFC 3. And if you brought in the takedowns in UFC 4 with the clinch game of UFC 3, along with a grounded pound in UFC 3 with the ability to use elbows and stuff, the grappling could be so much better. In terms of gameplay, I don't have a whole lot of complaints. Like I said, I think the grappling's pretty good. I think the striking's pretty good. I think it gets a lot of flack that, quite frankly, just isn't deserved. EA has not made a bad game here, in my opinion. But let's be honest, the worst part of UFC 4 by far is the people who play it. Have you ever, played a game? It was a good fight, it was a pretty competitive fight. You go on to lose the fight, but it was back and forth, you don't really hang your head, and you're not really upset about the fact you lost. It was a good fight. But then you get spammed with messages after the fight being told, you're garbage, you should never play this game again, you should uninstall. And it's a part of the trait that the MMA community has that honestly makes me not really want to consider myself a part of the MMA community anymore. And it's just simply the toxic, fan base that we have to deal with, where constantly people are disrespectful to one another instead of trying to encourage people to get better, instead of encouraging people to learn. And I'm not even just talking about in the UFC game, I'm talking about the MMA community in general, where instead of encouraging people to learn, we call people casuals for having differing opinions. And I honestly don't think that's okay. I want to see people, encourage each other to watch the sport. If you're going to be a dick to someone because you beat them in a game of UFC 4, one, that shows you're a loser and that you have no life. But not only that, but it just shows that you're nothing but a dickhead. Literally nothing but a dickhead, and I have zero respect for you. But the one thing I love about this game, and mixed martial arts and boxing and all these types of martial arts in general, is the amount of strategy that actually goes into it. And that's the one thing I absolutely love about this game. I pick a player, whatever character I pick, I try to develop a whole game plan around. And I understand that it's not easy when, yes, you know who the person's picking, but you don't know how these people play as opponents. But I enjoy the concept of, learning and adapting mid-fight and trying to understand what my opponent's doing and how I can counter that and stuff. That's the one thing about this game that I love, is that there's always a counter to something. No matter what your opponent does, there's always going to be a counter to it. And there is literally nothing that you can do that isn't counterable. And that's something that's so amazing to me in this game. I love being able to, pick my opponent apart and just take him to school with, some very high fight IQ. And the thing is if I lose a game, then I only have myself to blame. I only lost that game for myself. It wasn't someone else who did that. It wasn't caused by someone else. It was caused directly by me, and there was no one else to blame but myself. And sometimes when you play a game, it's easy to blame other things. Oh, that was just lucky. That was a lucky shot. But the reality is that you got caught by that punch. You got caught by that kick. You got taken down. You got put in that submission. You got grounded, pounded to a finish. The judges didn't give it to you, give the decision to you. Next time, don't leave it in the hands of the judges. These things where if you get finished or you lose a fight, it's because you didn't do something. And yes, there is going to be the occasional bad decision that, doesn't go your way. But ultimately, for the most part, you are in control of whether or not you win or lose these fights. Alright, enough positive stuff. Back to the complaining. This morning, I actually played a game of UFC 4 where all the guy did was he was using Nate Diaz, and he was just clinch spamming, taking me down, tapping me on the ground. That's about it. And when I was finally able to stop that from happening, I was using Conor McGregor. When I was finally able to stop that from happening in the 4th and 5th rounds, I was all over him. He couldn't touch me. Now, one of the judges did give it to 49-46. He did ultimately go on to win the fight. Yes, and that's my fault. There should have been something that I could have done about that. But I didn't do anything about it, so unfortunately I lost, and it is only my responsibility to deal with. But people like that do ruin the game, and I want people to honestly take a good hard look in the mirror of themselves and think, wow, was this really worth it?
All right, it looks like the official decision is in. Yes, here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. All 3 judges score the contest. 49-46. Declaring the winner by unanimous decision, Dominic the Dominator Cruz.
Well, he did not get the finish that he certainly prioritized.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that ramble about me thinking that UFC 4 is completely whack. I mean, sometimes the game's very frustrating, but overall it is a very good game. But sometimes you just need to vent your frustrations out. And let me know what kind of videos you guys want to see next, because sometimes it is hard coming up with ideas that not only will you guys enjoy, but that I'll also enjoy making. Because I have to enjoy making the video, otherwise I'm just going to make crap. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!